Welcome to Wiki Bearings, where we dive into the worlds of engineering excellence, from the automotive marvels to the industrial giants. Join us to explore the wonders that keeps the world in motion. My name is Hassanein Alwan, and I'm your host. Welcome, everyone. Buckle up as we are going to go into a journey into the automotive industry. In this episode, we're going to specifically talk about shock absorbers. I have a special guest with a decade of experience in a spectrum of the automotive OE and aftermarket. He have navigated from France to Japan, China to India, and today he is the sales manager for NTN in the automotive aftermarket in the Middle East and Africa region. Romain Testard, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Hassanein.
Thank you for coming. It is a pleasure to have you here. It's a topic that we maybe the listener are not used to talk about, especially that you are representing NTN. It's going to be an interesting topic to dive into and dig more, and why shock absorber and why NTN. To start with, we'd like to know a little bit more about you. Few words.
Thank you again, Hassanein, for this great opportunity and all the Mineral Circle Bearings team. So I'm Romain Testard, as you said, sales manager for the Middle East and Africa for Automotive Aftermarket. I'm in the company since about 10 years, and as you mentioned, I have been started in France in the Automotive Aftermarket field, and moved to Japan for 3 years in charge of department for automotive OE to coordinate European car makers, global RFQ and such stuff. And back to my first love, which is automotive aftermarket here in Dubai, to handle this really promising region and drive our ambition in the automotive aftermarket.
I know you're not only an automotive expert, but you're also a cyclist.
Yes, correct. This is true. This is part of my life and days. I love cycling. I'm passionate in that sport for many reasons, but mainly that bring me that discipline every day and commitment to have a self-satisfaction and perform over the full day. So I start early morning, then my day at work is kind of very productive with that.
Great. Of course, you know, cycling is a sport. It's a hobby. And I think it's a very interesting way to start the day.
Yeah.
Some people start with coffee, but you start with cycling.
Yes, correct. I love the challenge. I love the challenge in any aspect of my life, and sport is one of the aspects. I'm committed 200% to this, as well as 200% to my work. The rest of the free time is with the family, but yeah, I'm kind of energetic guy that need to bring new challenge and drive new challenge. So I'm also participating recently in the region in some races, cycling races, cool. and cycling community. So,
did you win anything?
Sorry,
did you win any?
Yeah, as a team we won recently. So I started to do it to challenge myself, but then when competition is on, you know, you want to win. So I participate to Abu Dhabi Grand Fondo, Dubai Spinis 92. Last month was in Cyprus Grand Fondo for 3 days. So yeah.
Sounds fun. You know,
it is.
And you have been doing this for quite some time, I guess.
Yeah, you know, before that I was I have always been in love with sport, but doing many sports, and I wanted to be more structured, and I fall in love with cycling during COVID, actually, when everything was locked down. I was in Japan at the time, living with Japan, and we were able to go, all the gym were closed and so on, so we were able to go outside.
Outdoor, yeah.
And that was the best way to explore Japan with my bike. So I did almost all the prefecture, and then I said I never stopped. So now I'm doing between 15,000 kilometers a year.
Wow.
And yeah,
you must change some bearings.
yeah. I need more bearings that sucks.
Okay. Let's come to speak about a little bit about NTN. Now, NTN is a well-known organization in the bearing segment with more than 100 years of experience in perfecting bearing, both automotive, industrial, and so on. Now, in that premium segment, we have few competitors in the space. What do you think make NTN different from the competition?
As you said, NTN is well known, well established. So NTN celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2018.
I remember that.
Yes, which make us in the close players being over 100 years old.
Yes.
We are a precision manufacturer. Developers, we research, we produce, we sell bearings for many industries, industry, aerospace, and automotive, as well as CV joint for automotive. So we are the leader in those segments worldwide, with our 72 plants around the world that give us this power to perform mainly with the OE players and bring us that legacy for automotive aftermarket or aftermarket businesses. Over 23,000 employees. Again, we are structured in the region to be as close as possible to the customer and to meet the market expectation, because the market expectation here in Middle East and Africa is completely different than the market expectation in China, for example, or in Japan.
Sure.
So we need focused people in each region.
Understand the dynamics, understand the culture, the people.
100%.
And
yes.
the market.
Yes. So that make us unique with also our global operation around the world. Yeah.
Great. I think NTN, like if I look at 2018 when NTN was celebrating, it was before COVID, 100 years, and it was sure one of the few companies in, I think the 100 years is always that number that you can have. There's many big companies, top 500 Fortune companies in the world, but how many of them are over 100? Then the numbers goes in a different direction. It is of course a milestone, and to survive 100 years, this means there is something behind it, a success. Otherwise, the company cannot sustain, and it shows the resilience of the company, to be able to reach that milestone for sure. Now, if you were saying, you're talking about the OE market, and like for our audience that doesn't know a lot about NTN, I know that NTN supply to some OE customers, bigger players, important players. Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, sure. NTN is working with all the major OE players for automotive, Japanese, European, USA, Chinese. We have operation as well in South America. So we are working with all the major OE players around the world, supplying them our range of products. And again, as you said, that legacy, when you are OE, that makes your life easier for aftermarket as a premium segment. that makes really NTN unique, being a Japanese company for over 100 years old. That Japanese company made some acquisition in USA, in Europe more recently, with the market
recently, but not so recently.
but
yes, I get you. I think the first acquisition was, within USA, BCA and Bauer.
BCA, Bauer, then SNR more recently in Europe. More recently, but over 15 years back already. Acquisition with the leader in the region, in USA, in Europe, already leader in Japan. Bring that identity, as a global group, being so well established with the customer network in OE to perform. Yeah,
I think if we look at NTN, it's with their move or the acquisition that happened in the US with Bauer and BSCA many years ago, NTN was able to establish itself as the player in the US market with that local acquisition. It was these two brands are well known in their segment in the USA, and it becomes this have changed how NTN was in the market in the US, and I think this success was repeated again by the acquisition of SNR
in Europe. Yeah,
and SNR, if we look at SNR, is a very European brand, and it was well established in Europe. Maybe with that acquisition, things have changed. And made SNR and NTN a stronger player in the European market.
Yeah, the strategy to purchase the leader in the region, in USA and SNR in Europe, allow NTN to grow market share wise, and to be already to have a turnkey solution, or to integrate already the leader in the group.
And how do you think this have changed the view of the European customer to NTN?
Well, European customers are more and more global. Audi is already producing in Mexico, in China, and so on. So when you receive OE RFQ and you are not able to supply them in the same territory or in the same region they are producing the car, this is a problem. So having this global network, manufacturing footprint, give that weapon with those strategic acquisition.
If we look at the general automotive aftermarket, or the general automotive range of NTN, we know that NTN doing bearings for sure. What other products are NTN doing? What are we looking to see?
Yeah, good point. Our automotive aftermarket range is divided into 4 blocks. So we have the chassis portfolio first with the wheel bearing. So we are number 1 worldwide for wheel bearing. We manufacture over 100 million bearing a year.
Wow.
Wheel bearing a year, yeah, okay. 100 million. Then we have the strut kit. Yeah. So the on top of the shock absorber, we are number 2 in Europe for this product as a OE. We have the ABS sensor.
Which is used to call ASB, right?
Yes. So in the 1997, SNR Europe was not NGN at that time. Developed and created actually the active coder, on the
magnetic coder, yeah.
to read the speed and so on. So that was created by SNR, and now everybody is using for the.
I think a lot of our listeners doesn't know it is actually an SNR invention.
Yeah, true.
And it's a global product now. I think it's used everywhere.
Yeah, true. And lastly, we have the CV joint for the chassis. We are number 2 worldwide for the OE as a CV joint manufacturer. And the newcomer in our range to cover this wheel corner is the shock absorber as a chassis. The second block is like powertrain, timing kit, pulleys, tensioners, belts, auxiliary pulleys, the belt as well, the dampers.
Things related to the engine and the bearings and
all the surrounding part of the engine, yes, rotating, let's say. We do have as well the driveline block with gearbox and clutches that are very, very famous in the region as well. Yes. And finally, the truck with all the TRB, inch, metric range, which is also very, very, very promising.
I think if we look at NTN and compared to other maybe players, they are still, I see that they are very focused around the core of the business, which I think looks like to be the strategy of NTN. I think when we look at, when we see the automotive aftermarket, and then we go to look at what's happening on the automotive OE, which will come at the aftermarket. Today we are in that transition of the growth of EV.
True.
And things are changing rapidly, and there is a lots of promises from manufacturer, different players saying, okay, 2035 we will stop producing ICE engine. Some are saying 2040 and all of that. Now, when looking at this, how do you as a manufacturer look at this? Is it an opportunity or is it a threat?
It's definitely an opportunity. I don't know if EV will be the future of automotive.
Of mobility.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What is sure is that ICE is under transition, and the transition already started. Maybe EV is just in between for a next technology. The good news behind that is that bearings will sustain. You will always need bearings for your wheels. You will always need a CV joint, whatever the technology will be. I would be more worried if we were filters or spark plug specialists. I will say we will have to diversify our product portfolio. However, this is opportunity. We have the timing kits and all this powertrain system and ranges, which is big added value in our portfolio. However, we can see already a shift or a demand declining on those product category.
But that must be an OE, not an aftermarket, right?
Yeah, not on aftermarket in Middle East and Africa, but in other regions with the EV trend and all those new.
You start to feel
yes,
that,
or to forecast that it will be accelerated.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That's why we need to diversify. Yeah. And shock absorber is one of the move and strategic move we did for the future. Okay.
Now, NTN, as I said, it's like for years it's around. I mean, a lot of, I think, of our audience doesn't know even that NTN is producing CV joint, even though they are the second largest OE manufacturer.
True.
Now, I think, especially in the aftermarket, we do not see it the same way, maybe, but it would make complete sense maybe to bring this to the aftermarket. And I think this is a product that will stay even after, if we move to EV or hydrogen.
Any technology will need CV joint.
Exactly. So I think this is a product that you have an advantage, and I think it will sustain. On the other hand, shock absorber is a new business, and I am tempted to ask why shock absorber. And when we look at other manufacturer, you're talking about let's say, when you speak about the engine, a lot of manufacturers are, I think, in another position, and if it was spark plugs or filters or engine bearings or piston rings, and I think, but when we look at these ranges, which is I think there is a threat into that technology. As you said, we are not sure that the future is EV, but I think we can say it's part of the future. At least we can already see the growth. I think technology will continue to evolve, and we will see, I think, the technology evolving in both the EV and in the ICE or ICE engine, and we have perfected the ICE engine now for maybe hundreds of years already. So I think it is still a good engine, in my opinion. I mean, yes, EV is part of the future or the recent future, but I think over the past 100 years, how the ICE engine started and ended up, I think we are already very advanced. But still the question is, why shock absorbers? And will NTN be able to compete in that market segment?
The expansion of our product portfolio to shock absorber is very logical. If you look at our current product portfolio and our expertise. We have a deep understanding on vehicle dynamics and suspension needs through our current product like CV joint. If we look at our chassis ranges, CV joint, wheel bearing, strut mounts, in between there is only the shock absorber. So this strategic move and industrial partnership with a key player will complete and strengthen our current product portfolio to deliver the best products with our to our partners toward our the expertise. We are keeping the same policy. NTN is well known for the quality as a premium producer and manufacturer. We keep the same for the shock absorber. So it will be an added value for our partners from all the supply chain, from distributor to end user, thanks to our expertise.
If we look at today in the spectrum of shock absorber manufacturer, there are few shock absorber or in that segment, few players that are well known, and they have years of expertise in this range. How will NTN be different? And tell us a little bit more about what we are expecting.
Yeah. At first, if I may add that we made many studies, and our marketing team did an amazing job to screen many product range, many opportunities, and is still doing. Is still doing, because we want to grow. We want to grow in a proper way. So if we believe there is added value for us through our partners, then we will take a move. NTN Corporation could compete by leveraging the proven track record, I would say, in quality, as I said, and precision engineering. So we'll do the same for shock absorber.
Yeah.
We estimate, for your information, the market, shock absorber market for aftermarket, so independent aftermarket and OES in Europe, about 20 to 23 million euro.
Interesting number.
And it's still growing, between 3 to 4% on the year-on-year basis. So this move is, again, quite logical and following the market needs and dynamic. The added value we will bring, again, with our current portfolio and our expertise on strut bearing, so the products are extremely complementary. Will bring added value to our customer, and I'm sure soon to mineral circle bearings.
I think you are already doing the strut bearings and now the shock absorbers. Again, are we going to see kits that having both? Are we? I think we need to a little bit unpack what I think some of the listener does not really know what the strut bearings are exactly. Maybe you can give us a little bit more here. And I think you had these two in between, and then the shock absorber. I think it's a very complementary, and I think a lot of audience doesn't know that even SNR is an expert in this, in that bearing type.
Yeah, very very true. This is, by the way, the strut bearing, the only bearing in our range not doing a full turn. This shock absorber will again bring value to this strut bearing and will help us to educate or teach, train the market through our distributors. The recommendation is to change whenever you change the shock absorber. So you have to change both sides,
Hopefully.
together, and hopefully, and the strut mount as well. So it's gonna be 2 shock absorbers and 2 strut mounts. If there is any demand, we can adjust our offer doing kind of super kits with 2 shock absorbers and 2 strut mounts. I feel today it's we still need this bit of pedagogy in the market to push, to support, to demonstrate that if you don't change the strut bearing, then the braking distance can be 15% more. So this is real safety parts that should be
considered, at least.
Considered, yes, and known. As you said, the strut mount in Europe, we need to change 3 shock absorber to change 1 strut mount. This is the ratio.
Yeah.
The OE recommend 1 for 1. I think here in the region, EMEA, I have no data, but we have some
1 to 5, 1 to 10. No, I think if we look at the, if you're gonna do the ratio of with all the roads that we have in this region, I think and some people does not even know that this can be changed or changeable. I think we are a bit far yet, but I think also the newer cars, this becomes even more important. Because this
the weight has increased as well.
The weight have increased. The stability we expect from a car have changed a lot. The way we drive nowadays, all of that have changed how we look at it. And I think if you look at the strut mounts, how it was 10, 20 years ago, it's a different technology today. It's not anymore just a rubber part that.
No, you're right, Hassanein. And here you bring me to one competitive advantages we have with our strut mount is that we have a steel ball inside.
Exactly.
Some of our competitors, this is sliding type, we call it. So the SUV trend and EV trend, vehicle being heavier and heavier, the strut bearing are not enough. The technical requirements are not enough. So thanks to our steel ball, we can penetrate events and follow this trend.
It's becoming almost like a rubber bearing.
Yes, actually from outside, the difference is inside, which you cannot see.
Exactly.
For the latest generation, you are very true. We used to have generation 0 or Gen 1, we used to call. Of course, you can still see the steel. No, the difference is really inside, and with all those steel ball and so on. That
Okay. If we look at today, the shock absorber business, I think we know whatever the future is. we're going to need them, and we're going to need maybe a more advanced technology in this with the car speed, with the car, how things are moving today. The acceleration of an electrical vehicle is in a very different dynamics than a normal engine, and we expect the car to be stable in all of, and this brings that shock absorber is a growing market today and tomorrow, and it is, and if we look at the region, the number of cars are increasing in a different pace than maybe a mature market, and for sure this is a growing market, and compared to maybe other products that we see that are gonna decline. So I'm very convinced that it is a product that will have a future, and NTN they have proof record on delivering good products, so we are expecting not. We don't expect less. Maybe we expect more. Now, what I understand is that this range would be more focused on European cars, and is that true? What can you tell us about what is your target market in terms of car park, and what is the brand? How is it going to be? SNR is going to be NTN. Is it a new brand that you are bringing to the market? Yeah.
So it is. It will be SNR branded shock absorber. The first launch is or was for European markets, covering 80% of the European car park. But as you know, many of the European car park is also composed of Korean and Japanese cars, which we can find here in Middle East and Africa, or in China, or South America. So in terms of car park, yes, 80% of the European, but we still can penetrate the other market. We are busy expanding the range to release new products and to cover as much as possible vehicle around the globe to make it a global launch. This is our ambition. As NTN or SNR, NTN group, but SNR brand, we compete with the premium segment, as you know, so we will compete with all the premium manufacturer. So
if we look at the launch of the brand, you said recently, do you have a date? When it was launched?
Yeah, so we launched the SNR shock absorber range for automotive aftermarket beginning of 2024, so it's very new.
Yeah. And how do you see the market reaction in Europe on the brand or the products?
Very good. Actually, with our current distributor, they see added value and opportunities, added new product with us. They are happy with our services, with our global offer in terms of delivery, e-shop, the sales team as well, and the marketing team. So it's quite smooth, and we are happy with the result. Yeah.
Now, I'm gonna look at it from a distributor perspective. In your portfolio, you must have at least two types of automotive distributor. One maybe more a spare part company, and maybe another bearing companies, which is focused on the automotive. Now we are talking about the automotive aftermarket. Normally you would have these two. Now, thinking from a distributor that maybe are listening to us, maybe you're already existing distributor for you, and say, okay, what is it for me?
Yeah.
And why do I bother? Is it something that I should think about? But what can you tell the distributor that is listening to us?
Yeah. The customer segment, like as you said, bearing specialist or auto part specialist, is completely different, of course. Auto part specialists, to provide part from bumper to bumper, they need hundreds different suppliers.
Sure.
While a bearing specialist is more focused on bearing only, of course. So they are having like 8 to 15 different suppliers. So the added value is obvious. To add a new product, pushing with you your current ranges to your actual customer network will bring that kind of unique value with your actual suppliers. And we had the same with you with, for example, I can say CV joint. When I say you is mineral circle bearing. You are a bearing specialist. Capturing such opportunity in other high added value products that you can pick in our ranges to add value in our offer and ensure customer satisfaction.
So it's not like take it or leave it.
No, of course. Of course not.
During the past 100 years, you acquired so many new or existing distributors and your network have grown. But I want to look at today to their customers, which is maybe a garage or maybe an end user. I now want to change I have a problem in my shock absorbers, or I wanna do. So why do I choose the SNR shock absorbers compared to other shock absorbers in the market?
I don't know where to start because there is plenty of advantages.
Okay.
First is our legacy with our strut mount kits. SNR is the best supplier for a strut mount kit, which is 100% linked with the shock absorber and recommended from the OE to be changed together. So this is real advantages. If we focus on shock absorber, and NTN as a group and also SNR brand is to meet always in our product the OE technical requirement.
Yeah.
So this is a premium range where we offer a unique advantages that we call standardization. No shock absorber you have left, you have right, you have with sensor, without sensor, and so on. So we promote one part number to fit several. That's why we've only 8, and the shock absorber specialists who are listening, with only 800 part number, we cover over 80% of the European car park. So I'll shorten the stock, the inventory, the cash flow of the company, distributors, garages, and make the life easier for this product family.
I mean, only 800 to launch a brand or a product with 800 part number is massive, and your launch with 80% of the European car park, I see this is like still a very big milestone.
And that's a big milestone because our ambitions are big as well. So if you want to reach big ambition, you have to take a big move and perform big change.
Strong steps.
So yes, it is 800. It's a lot. But if you look at other premium shock absorber specialists, the product portfolio is wider because they don't have these standardization advantages.
Now, if we look at just with the focus on the Middle East and Africa, because we are in the Middle East and Africa, and both me and you are responsible to work on this region. You know, the Middle East and Africa is a bit mix of you have West Africa with lots of French cars, which I think there is a promising market there, but on this side of which I call it maybe East Africa, Middle East, we have a mix of European, Japanese, Korean cars. Of course, the Chinese cars are also a growing segment. How do you see the size, the range? How do you see that? Will we expect to cover more of the Middle East and Africa car park?
Yeah, sure. So batch 1 was mainly European launch, as said, and in the coming months we have batch 2 and 3, which are already in the pipeline, to wider the range and cover the other market.
Now, I have to ask this question because I think a lot of our listener wants to know this, and we didn't talk about it today. A lot of automotive manufacturers that are trying to diversify, they are sourcing a lot of their production. Is this an NTN production or SNR production, or is it an outsourced production?
So this is an industrial partnership,
okay,
where NTN made investment. So this is public on the press, and we will also develop alternative sources carefully, respecting our technical requirements, which are same as the OE, to do reverse engineering and meet the premium level in terms of quality and performance. In the similar way for wheel bearing, for example, to take another example, we have dedicated aftermarket lines. So when we don't have the OE position, that does not mean we cannot offer for the aftermarket. So if we see that there is a market opportunity and so on, we have those lines ready to produce and to develop internally for aftermarket.
I think you're leveraging the knowledge, the experience, the know-how that you have, and if there is an opportunity, why not to grab that opportunity?
True.
If we look at the Middle East and African market, in addition to the standard roads we are driving in, people loves to go off-road. 4x4s in the sand, in the dunes, and
road conditions.
Road conditions are different, and there's some extreme sports. And do we see that SNR will serve that market? Is it fit for these conditions?
Definitely it is, and not only for shock absorber, but all our ranges is OE quality. Means we respect the technical requirement based on the OE specification. Let's take wheel bearing, for example. You have some wheel bearing designed to last after 200, 300,000 kilometers. So when you supply the same quality for aftermarket, you can go on any road, and the durability will be ensured.
SNR, and I think NTN Group is looking, you said that it's looking to maybe diversify. Are we seeing any other new product in the horizon? What are we expecting in the coming few years?
We recently launched a few products for e-motors. So this is bearings for e-motors, but very specific specification, high temperature, and very high speed as well.
I mean, we need to explain what e-motors means.
Yeah, electric motor for electric application.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is part of the industrial bearing?
No, automotive. This is purely automotive. That will, let's say, replace the gearbox.
And do we expect more products to come to in the coming years? How do we see the growth of NTN on the automotive OE or aftermarket?
New product will come, as I said, but also the function or the specification of our current product portfolio are changing. We saw with the strut bearing, for example. Let's take wheel bearing again, or even CV joint has to be more compact to fit with the EV chassis environment, and the angle to be more and more. For the wheel bearing should be lighter. The torque should be as close as zero as possible, so very efficient, to ensure low friction, low CO2 emission, or more and more autonomy for the battery EV. So the product itself requires new investment to be at the cutting-edge technology of a new OE requirement and demand. Yes. You know the angular unit, bearings, the first generation, as we used to call for the wheel bearing.
Yeah.
This is everywhere on the road. But you can see that the new vehicles sold are almost all with third generation.
Yes.
So this...
And I think it's getting more and more demand on this. Like now we need them with ABS, with sensors, with lighter in weight, smaller, and this there is a lot of pressure on making this lighter, especially for EV. How to make a steel bearing lighter? Now I think a lot of manufacturers like you are exploring to use different metals, if it's aluminium or carbon, and I know that there is a lot of the same products, but there is this evolution going on in the market. Now there is a recent development in the market where some mechanical producer or bearing companies and so on have ventured into softwares, electronics, sensors, and I know that SNR produce also some sensors there. Maybe you give us there. But are we going to see more into the electrification of the cars from SNR or from NTN Group?
What's sure is that we still have hundreds and 100 years to go.
Okay.
So we should never say never. Definitely, we need to follow the market trend, and wherever we will see a strategic move, following our DNA, then we will have to investigate and move forward. Yes.
Romain, it was great having you. I enjoyed very much our discussion. I hope our audience have enjoyed that as much as we did. Thank you very much for today.
Thank you, Hassanein. Thank you for having me and hosting me.
Maybe this is the first time, but it will probably not the last time. We have many more things to discuss.
Okay, take the invitation. Yeah.
Thank you very much, and see you guys next time. And that wraps another episode of Wiki Bearings. Don't forget to subscribe for more insight into the fascinating realm of the engineering innovation. Until next time, keep spinning towards greatness.